it's JG here with Earth 5D University, back for teaching. So glad you're here today, guys. We're talking about that fifth dimensional higher frequency energy plane on this earth, bringing that higher light energy straight up into our current reality, right? In everyday life, we're bringing that frequency in to raise our consciousness and to integrate it on the planet, right up in our everyday life. So not somewhere on the cloud, but practical stuff so that you can begin to experience it daily in a practical, grounded way in your life. So let's get into it, guys. Right now there's a storm in the background. The trees are whipping around, as you can see, and so it's kind of a wild energy, but we're just going to work within that energy. I live in Florida, and this is a tropical-ish type storm coming through, and it's pretty much symbolic, I feel, of what happens when the divine masculine and feminine meet together in our world, and it creates sort of like an explosion of energy that may seem to you like chaos, right? It feels to you like emotions are flying, like outside, the wind is whipping around and there's energy flying. And some days are smooth, some days aren't smooth, and there's just sort of like this wild energy. And so what I invite you to today is to not be afraid of the chaos that might enter your life as you begin to ascend in frequency, as you begin to reach higher consciousness, as you begin to even out some of the crazy energies in your life. So when we talk about raising our consciousness, we're talking about being more in control of what we create on this earth, having the understanding that we can be the one who is creating reality. And we do this in relationships too. And it's slightly different because when you're in a relationship with your divine counterpart, they're mirroring you. And as they're mirroring you, it's kicking up energy that you must look at yourself. And so we have to be aware that when we're triggered in a divine union and it feels like chaos is entering our lives and we can't quite make heads or tails of what is happening with our person, it's just to trust that within that chaos, Spirit's helping us to create something bigger and better and brighter for our lives. Harnessing that energy and that unification, not only of the divine masculine and feminine energy in yourself, but harnessing the understanding of that you have the ability to bring higher frequency through into your everyday life. And so the chaos happens, my experience, the chaos happens in that place where the higher frequency meets the lower frequency. And the lower frequency is like, hey, I'd like to stay here. I'm comfortable here in this place, living in you, living in your energy field. And the higher frequency is like, nah, sorry, thank you so much for serving X, Y, and Z, JG. Thank you so much for serving her, but she's choosing a higher frequency right now. And so the lower frequencies are like, no, it doesn't want to leave your reality, right? Some of these lower frequencies. So it sort of like becomes this dance within yourself and this sort of chaotic experience inside of yourself. And so I just invite you today to be okay in the chaos that might be happening in your life. It's going to get easier. It's going to get slower. It's going to get mellower. And you're going to love what you see beginning to materialize, not only in your relationships, not only within the divine union, but within your life. Things are going to be starting to work. Things are going to start to work better. Things are going to start to flow in your life. And so that might not be currently happening. You might be dealing with the whipping around of the winds, right, in the background, and like, oh my God, there's this high frequency meeting this low frequency. It's an explosion. I can't seem to communicate with my person. Are we even in a relationship? X, Y, and Z, right? But just try to be with that and try to really bring higher love into that place. And that higher love feels like acceptance. And it also feels like non-judgment. And it also feels like compassion. And it also feels like unconditional love. Like, no matter what happens, I'm going to stick with this process. No matter how the winds are raging in my life and how much shifting out there, I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to stop. I'm going to choose love. I'm going to choose to integrate higher frequency, even though things are like the, you know what seems to be hitting the fan. The poop's hitting the fan, right? You're like, what is going on? Things are flying, You'll just notice people are kind of like triggering you some days, and then some days people are like just so kind to you, and you're like, what is this? This is the ascension. This is the ascension process. And because we are here right now, whenever you get to this video, we're really just beginning to really harness these higher frequencies on earth. And so we're taking the light and we're bringing it into places, shining it into places of darkness, obviously within ourselves and within the world around us. So when we deal with the shadow inside of ourselves and that energy that's like, I don't want to leave, I'm jealousy and I like raging inside of JG, or I'm anger and I like raging inside of her. And the higher frequency is like, we're going to bring something in there. We're going to bring something that's going to transmute that into something that's much, much more beneficial for the earth and for me, my human vessel, my inner temple. I am the temple of God. I am Christ consciousness. I am that. I am divinity. And so these divine energies are coming through, and some of these older ones that no longer serve are like screeching and they don't want to leave, but trust the process, accept, and also we can do a little invocation right now and invite your higher self and light family to help you in this chaotic process where it just seems like everything is just flying into craziness. Okay, so I know all of you experience this differently. Some of you might get like a health thing. Some of you might not have health things, and you just might be energetically like off, or just try to work with this raging energy that you might be seeing out in your life, this whipping crazy energy. So I'm actually taking what's literally happening in the background, and I'm using that to discuss something that's happening also within us. Okay, so trust it, and now let's think about how we can bring spirit into it. So we just thank you, Spirit, for loving us so much. We thank you, Spirit, for always attending to our needs. We have the need to brighten our lives. We have the need to be sovereign. We have the need to bring light into places that are no longer serving us. Please help us today, Spirit, to bring that light through, to smooth out the rougher edges in our character, to smooth out the rougher edges in our consciousness and in our everyday lives. And please bring in higher light frequency to raise our consciousness, to raise our energy into love, acceptance, peace, harmony, excitement, and joy, and high frequency, especially in those areas of our life that are stubborn and don't want to change. All right, guys, so that's what I have for you today. It's an invitation to be a part of that chaos and not be afraid of it, and just to allow yourself to just sink into the spiritual place of higher frequency, and with compassion and love and non-judgment, and just receive this higher light, because it will calm down in your life, I promise. It will stop raging, it will calm down, and you're gonna love the result. So it's within this chaos that the transmutation change that happens, and we reach those higher places. All right, guys, much love and light. Bye for now.